Welcome to Next Level eCommerce, the webinar series where top e-commerce experts share their advanced tips and tricks.
Yes, there we are again. Welcome everyone. Welcome back for another Next Level e-commerce webinar. I see the numbers rising actually of people that have attended before. So for the ones that have already attended, welcome back. For the other ones, welcome for the first time. Good that you're joining us. And as you can see, we actually have another AI session planned for today. After a great few sessions actually with Mike, some Mike wrote, so some actually in person and some here in the webinar itself. So that is great. And actually we had Mike over in the 20th of March, as you can see, to present quite some things about AI, and he went really into depth. And actually I was chatting with Mike for quite some time. And I also chatted with other people, and there were quite actually also some people that were a bit scared of where AI went to and how you can basically use it in your daily job, because you can automate a lot with it. It can help you, but also a lot of people are actually struggling with it because everyone has been there, right? Putting in a prompt, not getting what you want, and then stopping from there. And that actually reminded me of something where I have been going on winter sports for years, wanting to do that specific trick. But every time I didn't do it actually, because when I fall, like you experience pain, right? And you've got to step up again, do it again. So the thing is, you need to be really consistent in it. And I think this is the thing with AI as well. There are a lot of people not using it in a daily basis. And I think a lot of the times you watch a pro doing the trick thinking, hey, I can do that as well. But afterwards, you also actually need to do something and be consistent with it and use it. And that's actually what we talked about with Mike for a while as well. And of course, he says, like, it's just too much fun. And I think it is, as long as you get better at it and you keep on consistently do it. So therefore, I also want to urge you to really start doing it, even if you get some great tips after today from Daniel. Please do so. And if you fall, step up again and try again, because this is really how you outclass other companies, yourself as a marketeer, as a freelancer, whoever you are, because this is really taking you to the next level. And this is also why we have this topic here in place. So that's a little bit motivation for you actually to do something with it afterwards. Actually me, I'm Jules, I'm the custom success lead. So basically managing the bigger accounts with some nice people. So probably maybe you have seen me, and with me I actually have Jochem, who is the ads lead. So more in charge of how we basically further develop our ad solution. And why we invented this is basically because there are a lot of cool things ongoing, and we can share a bit more to make sure that everyone gets better in PPC, we do better, and we innovate from that. And that's also why we brought Daniel to the stage. But we do also have some house rules because he prepared a lot, quite some insightful tips. So we urge you to be here because that's what he prepared you for. We do allow questions, of course, and therefore we have a questions tab, which you can basically see on the right button. And there you can place your questions. Please do so, because you can upvote them. And those are the questions we basically use and ask Daniel as well. So if you have any important questions, the chat will not directly be answered. We try to, but mainly the questions tab will be answered. Besides that, we have it planned until 45, but if we need some more time to provide more value, we do so, because everything is being recorded, and you can also leave then, of course, if you don't have the time anymore. And it's good to see that people found the emojis. So please use that as well to give Daniel some feedback on how he is actually doing. As well, we had quite some good content already in the last period. So we had Marcel Small over from Roots Network, presenting actually a lot about search. Daniel is going to touch on that a bit as well. It's quite an extensive one, and he actually also uses AI for his RSAs. But Daniel can give you a bit more around that. And actually all the ones that we have been doing are also being recorded. So if you are looking into specific topics, we're getting more and more content. So help yourself out there as well. And on the other note, we also got a new one coming in after Daniel, which is actually Aaron Young, which is quite a good guy. because he's on the number 18th of the PPC top 50. He has more than 90,000 subscribers on YouTube. Mainly focuses himself also on PMax and demand gen. And I think this is a really urgent topic, because to every bigger brand, retailer, agency we talk to, the main challenge we currently get is that profitability is a thing. And he's going to share a little bit more about how to outsmart that, and to make sure that you are outsmarting basically the rising CPCs and that. So make sure you register as well, because we have that one planned, I think, on the 11th of June, actually, in the morning. And then it's time to introduce our guest, which is done by Jochem.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and special welcome to you, Daniel. I know you for quite some time. Yeah. You want to say something? Go ahead. Welcome. I know you for quite some time, mostly as a power user of Channable, specialized in e-commerce and advertising. And recently, I've also joined one of your presentations. Surprisingly, about AI agents, and I had to say I was really impressed by it. That's also why we invited you for this, because before it I felt like I really was up to date about everything that was going on with AI, but turned out I was wrong there. You were showing some things, some AI agent stuff that I really wasn't aware of, and I think that many people in the audience today are also not aware of that. So I hope many people get inspired by what you showed today and implement it straight away. So with that, I want to give you the word, Daniel, and kick it off.
Yeah, thank you, Jochem, for the kind words and the introduction. Hey, everyone. So we're going to talk about AI agents, and especially how to integrate AI agents with Channable and Google Ads. But before we go in towards that, I think it's important to actually stand a little bit there where we started. Back in 2021, AI started, and I started with AI as well. ChatGPT wasn't even there, and we started using sketchy tools to create SEO tags, for example, and it was worse in English and even worse in my native language, Dutch. So 2022 was a real game changer for everyone, because at November 2022, ChatGPT launched, and I was using it from the first moment. Actually, in 2022, I was working at another company, not at Tomorrowmen, and I actually got in trouble with my manager for using ChatGPT to write SEO text. So a lot of changed back then. We were early adopters then, but after 2023 and 2024, almost everyone is using generative AI. We'll talk about Gen AI a little bit more further, and in 2025 is a new game changer, actually, which is Agentic AI, or AI agents, or however you feel like naming it. We get to that in a moment. But first, I'm really curious about you guys. How would you describe your own usage of AI? Are you still exploring the basics? Are you not using AI yet, or are you extremely experimenting and integrating your day-to-day basis? So I'm really curious about that. I also get to vote myself. So
yeah. Can you see the answers, Daniel?
Yeah, it's running up now. Yeah, cool. So a lot of people are actively using it, or using it in a daily operation, but also some people are exploring the basics. I think today is a little bit advanced to medium, but I'm happy to see that almost all of you are using AI to some extent. That will be a little bit more understandable for today. First things first, I think choosing ChatGPT for creating ad copy is so 2024. A few issues arise when using only ChatGPT, because I've been there myself. I've used the prompt like write me a Google ad for this product, and the output was worse. It was not in my tone of voice. I didn't include the keywords I wanted, Also, I don't know if it's familiar to you guys, using emojis or an exclamation point or whatever, which is not allowed by Google. And it was simply not compliant to whatever my customer wanted. And one of the few things I've always struggled with using only ChatGPT, it's not scalable. I can use it to create one ad copy, but sometimes I have customers with 1,000 products or 20,000 products, and I'm not going to do that 20,000 times over. So that's where I think workflows and AI agents really come into place. And that's actually the game changer we're in right now, because we can automate ChatGPT, we can automate it, but how do you do that good? And I think that's by using agentic AI. The difference between agentic AI and generative AI I'll get to in the next slide, but agentic AI actually makes decisions and takes decision on action with minimal human input. Like I said, in this one, a human has to put in the prompt and control the output, but agentic AI completely changes that. But there's a big difference between the traditional automation we know, for Channable example, and agentic AI. The first example is traditional automation. So the input, let's say, is someone is 19 years old. Then I have a rule, for example, for a tool like Channable or any other automation tool, if the age is above 80, it's access, if else, it's denied. So in this term, when someone is 19 years old, he can enter, for example. Agentic AI structures it on unstructured data. So, for example, the input is I have to do my math homework, for example. An AI agent can reason this chances this person is in high school is very likely. So this person is probably under the age of 18. So you will automatically deny it. I think that's the big difference. So the first one is structured data, and the second one can work with unstructured data. So there are a lot of terminologies for a lot of different AI things. I think agents has become a very frequent word, especially in the last few months. And there's a minor difference between the two, but for this time I will only use agents. There are also some people call it sub-agents or assistants, but today I will just call it agents. There are also tools and knowledge, and I think understanding the difference between those three is really key to your success. So I will first start with agents. Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but agents is an intelligent AI-powered assistant and is capable of actually capable of doing human things. It's powered by the LLM. I prefer to do it by reasoning models or more heavy models like ChatGPT 4.5 or Claude. But therefore it can reason and make decisions, actually take actions. An AI agent you can build by two ways. I think the first one is a core instruction, which is basically some kind of manual for your agent. I have an example in the next slide about that, but it's basically a text and you actually describe a manual for your agent. The other one is a flow builder, and I think those who are familiar with Channable are more familiar with that. It's based on if, did, then, that system, which Channable also uses. I think the second one is more better for when you create something based on rules or law, when it's more black and white. And I think the first one is when you have a more harder task. This is an example of not an agent I built, but of a template. This agent actually responds to emails. I get a lot of emails, and this agent helped me with that. So this agent basically is a core instruction, and it will start once you get an email, it will start executing certain things. I think one of the most interesting things about this one is the fourth, is that if you are confident about the information retrieved to the answer to the question, generate a response. And I think that's really cool. However, if he's not certain, he can escalate it to a manager. So to me, for example, it's a really cool thing. We also use with clients to automate customer support, for example. So this is a custom instruction. However, there's also tools within the world. And tools, the big difference between an agent and a tool is for execution. An agent can use a multiple set of tools to do its work. So, for example, the agent I showed before about the emails, it needs some tools, right? It needs a tool to write the emails. It needs tools to retrieve information. It needs tools to send the email. So that's what you do here. Every tool always starts with an input. It can be basically everything. It can be an API key, it can be a product ID or a Channable feed or whatever, but it always needs an input. And basically everything that comes after that is a step. Steps can be a Google search prompt or a Python code or just a basic prompt in ChatGPT or another LLM model. You can be as creative with that as well. You can build them yourself, like I usually do. However, there are also a lot of templates available on the internet. Every tool begins with an input and always ends with an output. It's the literal result generated by that tool. So it's always your last step in creating a tool, but you can also use a custom output to have an XML feed or a CSV feed or whatever you like. This is one of the tools I've built. It's a very basic one. The input is quite simple. It's a product title and an identifier like Aeon code, for example, and a few others. And it basically generates, based on those variables, it generates text for my Google Ads campaigns. So for example, I can put in collagen powder and I get in my Aeon code and it generates ad copy based on those two variables and essentially how I want it. But without knowledge, AI a little bit remains fake. I think we've all been there trying to generate ad copy or whatever text with ChatGPT, and it completely ruined it, or it lied, or it told some things that weren't true. And I think knowledge without an AI agent or tool without knowledge is basically not working the best that it can. So what is knowledge? It can basically be anything you like. It can be a CSV file. For example, your Channable expert, it can be a PDF document, it can be an entire website or whatever you feel comfortable like. And knowledge is basically what you provide to your agent or tool. So this way you ensure your tool is up to date with the rules you want it to follow. There's an example of a tool. It's basically the same as a CSV or an Excel document, and you can feed it to your tool or agent. And I think when using those three combined is the best practice. I think an agent cannot work without tools, and a tool cannot work properly without knowledge. And so an agent cannot work without knowledge. So basically this triangle works best for me. And I was working with this for half a year, maybe, different products, different projects. And I always thought this was the golden triangle. Until a few months ago, I found another one, which is basically using AI agents, Channable, and Google Ads combined. And I was thinking, how can we maximize this? How can we work on this a little bit more? And we found a client of ours who was willing to cooperate with us. So that's what I want to talk about next, how we actually put it in practice. But before we go to that, I'm really curious about what your primary obstacle is with working with AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever other tool. So I see a lot of people are still figuring it out. Also, a lot of compliance and brand safety. That's really interesting. Still running. Yeah, cool. So it's 33% still figuring it out, and 25% not scalable enough, and compliance and brand safety. That's really interesting because that's exactly what this case is all about. it's when we incorporated AI agents, Channable, and Google Ads. Basically, the case was as follows. It's a big brand in the health or supplement market in the Netherlands, and I was working for this client for almost 2 years now, and we're doing great on PMX. Google Shopping, really dominant, really profitable, but we're not so advanced in the text ads. So obviously, we chose the Channable text ad builder to create text on a massive scale. But I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with Google the Channable text ad builder. So Jochem, maybe you can tell a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. I think here we have it on the big screen. Basically, what you can do is like creating headlines, descriptions at scale. Mostly the e-commerce use cases that you do it on the product level, but also on a category and a subcategory level. And for example, make asset groups. If you have like, if you're a multi-brand retailer, you can easily create like a combination of a brand times category and create relevant headlines and descriptions for each level without doing it all by hand. So that's still in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks. I think we've been working with a Channable text ad builder for quite some time now, and it really works well. What we usually did is create app copy based on variables. So, for example, this one, if we use the word shop in English and then we add the product name after it, or order and then the product name, or whatever. But somehow our ads, I thought we can do that better, right? So that's where AI came into place. We wanted to create actually unique ad copy for each individual product and for each individual product group. So basically what we did was the following. We got the Channable feed, we was full of information, and pushed that to one of the tools I showed earlier, the ad copy generator. And by doing that, we can create ad copy on a massive scale. However, this time we entered our tone of voice we wanted to use and certain keywords we wanted to add to all our advertising. So therefore, we can create ad copy on a mass scale, and it was fully compliant by our brands we wanted to tell. Second step was actually an agent. We checked on 2 types of compliance. I think, first of all, the Google Ads claims. There are certain words you cannot use. There are certain, for example, emojis are a no-go. You won't even enter Google Ads. So it checked on that. And for this client in particular, we checked on health claims, especially in the Netherlands with the Keuringsraad. We use their documents to actually control all our ad groups or ads if it was fully compliant to that. Why? Because the fines are extremely high, and obviously we didn't want any fines. All of that got into a CSV, and that CSV we used as an additional feed in Channable, and then the fields in those additional feeds we use in a text ad builder. Jochem showed earlier, and then we pushed it to Google Ads. So what that created was more than 500 unique text ads, and actually within a few hours, including the setup. Because I think we were working on the setup for a few hours, then we clicked on generate, and within a few hours we had so many great ad copy. But first, I think most important, it was fully compliant to Google Ads, because we did it before and it wasn't fully compliant and it got rejected. And also, there were no non-authorized health claims in it, which is very important because of all the fines and stuff. And it was in a full correct tone of voice, including the right keywords, etc. So that was a great start, and we pushed it to Google Ads. And then I thought, right, well, we have to do a little bit more. So usually what you do is you let it run some time, and then you check when it's done, and you analyze it, and then you adjust it. But then I was thinking, why not take it a step further? And that's why do I not create an AI agent that does my work? Because I usually analyze it, the performance data, I learn from it, or try to learn from the ad copy and change it accordingly. But why not implement my knowledge into an AI agent that does the work for me? And for example, what we did is I created an AI agent that analyzes the ad copy of those ads based on the CTR. We're also going to do it in a ROAS because we want to start with the CTR because it's really fresh. And our agent actually learns what works and what doesn't. So it analyzes the ad copy and sees, hey, this is working and this is not working. Why is this working and why is this not working? And we did an ad following. So after every 30 days, Google Ads will push all the results back to our agent. And we use NHN for that. It's a custom tool, but you can use whatever tool you like. I will get into that a little bit later. We pushed it to our Google Ads agent, which basically does my work, and that Google Ads agent analyzes it. What it did, it incorporated all the information in a knowledge, and we pushed that to our RSA generator, and it actually learned from our input. So in this particular case, it was a brand in the health and supplements industry, and we mixed a little bit between vegan supplements and very good ingredients. We got a channel between that, and it actually showed that vegan was overperforming the natural ingredients. So our agent automatically pushed a little bit further on the vegan, and it decreased the other one. And then it controlled the compliance again, because obviously ChatGPT is going to ruin everything. So we controlled the compliance again, and we push it back to our text ad builder, and then we're going to push it back to Google Ads. Basically, every 30 days, he's going to do this process all over again. And I think it's just a start, because when you do so many great things with this, for example, with ROAS, or with just more impressions, or with just a better revenue, it can be so many things I do on a daily basis, which we can automate. And this is not only it. The possibilities are endless with Channable. These are a few things we already did for our clients, and I think you guys can do as well. This was the Channable text ad builder, but you can also create ad copy for your Performance Max builder, which is basically the same thing, but only for your Performance Max campaigns. We also did Google Shopping descriptions by using AI, and we did our complete listings for example marketplaces like Bol or Amazon. We can all do this with AI workflows and AI agent, and I think the possibilities are endless with Channable. But now I'm very curious about how AI can change your e-commerce or marketplace setup. So it's not a multiple choice, but just leave it here, chat. Yeah, cool. So I see a quick question from Lamar in the beginning. Can you A/B test with this? Yes, there's actually a thing we're working on right now, and we're currently testing it, and it looks like it works. So it's definitely possible, yeah. All right, cool. Basically, to how to do all this, there are a lot of tools available on the internet. I'm not sponsored by any tool or don't have a cooperation with any tool, but these are the tools I often use. One of them is Relevance AI, and I especially use it when using the brain power. So actually creating the AI agents, creating the tools, it really works well. It's a no-code tool, especially for guys like me who don't know anything about that. It really works well. But obviously, you also need muscle power, like automating things between Google Ads, CSV, and Channable, for example. And therefore, I like to use NHN. It's basically the same. My LinkedIn feed is full of it, with all different workflows guys are building. But I will get to that a little bit later. This is what Relevance AI looks like. I've blurred out a few company details, but it basically allows you to create agents, create tools, and to implement your knowledge. Real easy to use tool. It's like I said, it's a no-code tool, so let's give it a try. And this is what NHN looks like. I don't know if I'm the only one which LinkedIn feed is full of these kind of workflows. But this is what NHN looks like. It's basically your muscle power. So this is a really easy way to automate things without minimal effort. Right. So the key takeaways, I think AI agents go beyond automation and they can make decisions for you and taking action with minimal input. And I think that's a real game changer. And like I said in the beginning, we're now at the stage of innovators and early adopters. So the fact that you guys are on here shows a lot because we're now at that stage. We're now at ChatGPT in 2022. It's possible to generate thousands of unique brand safe ads using AI and Channable. I think it's a real cool use case, and it was real easy for us to generate a lot of content. 5 years ago, I was working at another company, and my job was basically to write stuff all day, write marketplace listings, write Google Ads tags, and that is completely changed. And I think the last thing I want to give you guys is to combine tools, agent, and knowledge to build the best data-driven and high-performing campaigns you can. I think these three are the better ones. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Daniel. I think you gave everyone quite some information on what you can do. And actually, in the chat, I saw a lot of people commenting, "Oh, I wish I had time for this." Which I think is really funny, because if you don't make time, you will never have time. If you start making time, and I know especially an agency and being an online marketeer, this is tricky, right? Because there are always urgent things to do. But it all starts with making some time to automate, because if you don't automate, you will run into the same issues every now and then. But although it's not the question that is on top, which we usually do, it might be a good question to ask you, how do you get this done?
So basically, what I often work for clients, and the thing we used to compare was the time you use generated manually compared to the time we do it with AI agent, which is a ridiculous example because no one is really generating ad copy by hand right now. So what I compare it to right now is what time are you using just to use ChatGPT compared to our solution with the workflow, and what's the difference between the time and how can we put money towards it, like compared to that time. And usually that's a good way to sum it up.
Nice. And I have one more question, and then we get to the actual questions. But I think for a lot of people, and actually also on the agency partner data we had, where Mike Rhodes was as well, I think some people are also still struggling, right? And you can see that in the polls as well. Where do I actually start? What tip would you give the people that are still struggling in using it on a daily basis? Where do you start?
Yeah, I was actually speaking on a marketing AI event 2 weeks ago, and I will give the same advice here of what I get then, is to start small, because everyone started small. I started by using ChatGPT for basically everything, and I got really good into it, and then you get to the place where it's not scalable anymore. And then you can try a little bit about agents, about workflows, and then you go into a little bit more. So basically start small and then work your way up.
Nice, just as live. But now I'm giving the stage to Jochem, because we have quite some interesting questions.
Yeah, I think the most questions are about like which tools you're using. I think you showed that in the end. Maybe was at the beginning you showed like one screenshot of a tool where you explained like the step 4. Was it also one of those?
Yeah, it was Relevance. Relevance I often use to create custom instruction for my AI agent, because it's a really nice tool. You can create an agent with it. And I connect a LLM tool to power it. So for example, if I want my agent to reason, I add a reasoning LLM, for example, a 3.0 of ChatGPT. And if I want to use write, for example, I use Claude, because Claude is really awesome. 3.5 is really awesome in writing. So yeah, Relevance AI.
Nice. Yeah, people are asking if we could make a tutorial. Do you know if there are good? Yeah, I guess there are. If there are good tutorials about those tools.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of online, and I don't have a favorite one. However, Relevance itself offers Academy, which is free to use for the same as Channel Academy. I think it's really understandable. There are videos, and you can just implement it right away.
Nice. Then I recommend to start there.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some examples of the most valuable AI agents you're using?
I'm using myself or for clients.
That's not specified.
Well, I think I'm currently working on one with emails. I get a lot of emails, and for me, it's really hard to structure them. So I'm currently working on an agent that not answers them, but structures them for me. So this is personal. This is from Channable, for example. This is for this client. This is from colleagues. I'm working on that as well. So that's personally. I think one that really helped me for last year was a compliance agent, which was not this use case, but another one. Actually, the one I talked about at the event with Jochem was an other client of ours, and he was in the industry of heavy cleaning materials, which have some really strict policies. And I didn't know anything about those policies. So what I did, I created an agent and I uploaded all the rules and the compliance documents I could find, and I uploaded this knowledge to my agent. So that agent has been saving my ass for almost a year from now to really help me with that. So I think those are two agents that help me the most.
Nice. So you're already doing the 2-day work week.
Yeah. That's the thing, especially with big companies. Like in the health industry, they actually have people that do this kind of job. They're controlling stuff, and we can help them with using AI agents to help them to execute those repetitive work, and then they can focus on their what they're truly good at is to implement that knowledge.
Nice. A question from Robin: can an AI agent do all the modifications on Google Ads, for example, like ROAS adjustments? I think
Yeah, it can.
But maybe on
Yeah, it can within HN. However, I think you should be really careful with that. I've tried it in a sandbox environment, but it is possible. However, I think you should be really careful about that because obviously you don't want an AI agent to ruin your Google Ads performance. So yeah, it's possible, but I think you should test it in a sandbox environment first.
Okay. Maybe one question from my side: how do customers reply if you tell them like, "Hey, I'm going to automate everything with AI agents"? You already mentioned everyone is making copy with ChatGPT, so it's probably not a new argument.
Yeah. I think it depends on the client. I don't initiate it mostly by myself. I usually listen to the client, what are their problems, where they're working at, and then I usually point it out. It really depends on the client. I have clients that are super hyped about it and truly believe in it, and I have clients that are really skeptical about it. And I think we can help them in both ways. However, there are different ways towards it. So it really depends.
Nice. A question from Alfred. He asks like what data you look at to improve the RSA. So basically, in the example you gave with Channable, how do you make that feedback loop? Like based on what data?
So we started with the CTR because we wanted to test it first. So every 30 days, it looks at the impressions and the CTR and the clicks and makes the decision based on that. But you can use all KPIs. But we started with that because it was the most safe, and we wanted to try that first and then go on further.
Nice. And also a good question from Max about like the character limit. Like ChatGPT sometimes struggles with that. How do you do that in your solution?
Yeah, I've struggled with that a lot. I know Max as well. We struggled a lot with that. I think within your custom instruction of a tool or your agent, when you specify 30 characters, it always ignores that. It always says 31 or 32, and somehow it cannot see the space limits, or it crashes on that. So actually, I have a custom small code that actually AI can understand. So it's a really short, I don't have it right here, but it's like small code. You can find it on the internet. It's real easy to do that. But it's the thing I struggled a lot with. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, cool.
And with that code, then it also works in ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's a like a small code which works within ChatGPT. So ChatGPT can understand the 30 character limits. It's somehow it can understand my words.
Nice. Okay, cool. And you could always like make another agent that checks the character limit, right?
Yeah, also, but that's the other thing I want to tell as well. When you control, because you get a situation when AI controls AI, right? And the best practice is to let another AI model control another AI model. So, for example, let Claude control ChatGPT or ChatGPT control Claude, because otherwise it won't see the mistakes it's making. So that's also a best practice I want to give to you guys.
Nice one.
Nice. That's actually a very good last tip, and I think there's one question we can actually answer if the Channable app builder already integrated AI, or should you use external tools for this? Currently, we're not integrating that, or it's not in there. It might be at some point, but it's more for Jochem to answer in the future. And I think currently Daniel is using quite some other tools basically to do that, which he also showed in the slides. So again, Daniel, thanks a lot for being here. I think you gave us quite some practical tips on how to use it and what you can actually do with it. And that's actually what our goal is for this whole webinar, that we at least give you one thing where you can do something practically with after today. So remember what I said in the beginning, make sure you start doing it. So if you fall, step up again and start doing it, because every time now it looked easy, and when you start, you will probably fail. Which is okay, because only then you're getting there. And that's the same for everything there. So thanks a lot, everyone, for giving us your time. And there is one more thing, because if you are interested and you think, hey, it might be nice to have a bit more look in how Channable looks like, and then there is the live demo plan. So you can sign up for it. You don't have to, but it is just there, and you can just sit relaxedly, and you don't have to talk to any salespeople, which should also then work fine for you. And with that, I wanted to thank you, everyone, and Daniel specifically, for all the great insights, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining Next Level eCommerce. If you want to see more, check out our YouTube or give us a follow on LinkedIn to get more e-commerce tips and tricks. See you at the next one.